Banger after banger.
What's going on, guys? It's your boy Big Hero Chris back at you with another one. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe, leave me a thumbs up, ring the notification bell, hit me up on Twitter, TikTok, community posts, and I'm back at you with the most spooky, spectacular time of year for NXT. It's night one of NXT Halloween Havoc. I got your review for you. And you know, I love these NXT themed shows like Halloween Havoc, man, Great American Bash, so on and so forth, because essentially it's fun. It's like you got wrestlers dressed up in costumes and, you know, doing all the spooky things, and you have the Wheel of Destiny that determines what type of match you'll have. So it's just those little fun things you have. And you also had a special performance by, I think the band was called New Year's Day. So that was a pretty cool way to open the show. And then we have special guest hosts Shotzi and Scarlett, who has been missing since 1967. I haven't seen her or Karen Cross in a long time, so it was a good thing to see her back. And you know, she's hosting, her and Shotzi, and you saw them throughout the night, and they have on different costumes, and they're interacting with the NXT stars, so that was a pretty cool thing to have. So the opening match was between Roxanne Perez and Kiana James, and a Devil's Playground match. And they actually had like a playground set up. Like there was a slide, there was a swing set out there. I think there was like a ball pit, and then you had a bag with a brick in it, and for some reason a laptop. It was just fun, and not for nothing. See what I did there? Because you know, you had Kiana James with a big ass knot on her forehead. Now, I have no idea where this knot came from, but it was there. It was like right smack dab in the middle of her beautiful forehead. Roxanne Perez got the win. She hit the pop rocks on the outside on Kiana James' bag, which had a brick in it, and for some reason the brick was like broken into a million pieces, because you know that's how physics works. But Roxanne Perez ended up getting the win. Then after this, she had an interview with Carmelo Hayes. He was talking to Vic Joseph, and Vic was asking him about his, you know, NXT championship match with Ilya Dragunov next week, and more importantly than that, what happened with Trick Williams, like who attacked him, and was Carmelo Hayes behind this? And this was kind of like the big story throughout the show, because you had Vic Joseph asking him about it, you had different wrestlers asking Carmelo about it. And I put a poll out on my community post as to who did it. I got 4 options: Buddy Murphy, Dr. Mephisto, the 1994 Denver Broncos, and Carmelo Hayes. And the top 2 picks were actually the Broncos and Carmelo. So, you know, if it's not Melo, be on the lookout for those 1994 Denver Broncos. But as of right now, all signs are pointing to Carmelo, and he didn't really do himself any favors, because he kind of sounded like O.J. Simpson. He kind of sounded guilty, and he was like, listen, I'm focused on the championship. I got rid of all distractions. I'll do whatever it takes. And Vic Joseph was like, well, does that mean you attack Trick Williams? And he kind of got a little defensive about this. And then you had Shotzi and Scarlett asking him about it. You even had Braun Breaker asking him if he did it. And of course, you know, rule number 1 is deny, deny, deny. And all signs really are pointing to Carmelo, which kind of leads me to believe that maybe he didn't do it. I mean, I'm thinking he did do it, but there's a slight chance that maybe it was actually somebody else. Like, I heard people even mention Wesley as a possible suspect, which, you know, that could be a possibility. But as of right now, the big reveal probably will be Carmelo Hayes did it, and OJ did it too. We're on to you, OJ. We're on to you, man. So continuing on with the shenanigans, you had a backstage segment with the Metaphor. You know, they're talking with Shotzi and Scarlett. They're doing a tarot card reading, and they're telling the Metaphor, listen, hold on to your possessions, hold on to what you love, and blah blah blah. They're giving them all types of bad news. And as they're talking, Akira Tozawa pops up out of nowhere and he steals the Heritage Cup. And for some reason he's taking it to a haunted house. I don't know why. I understand it's because it's Halloween, but you know, it was still pretty funny, because it was just the way he snuck up out of nowhere and just stole the Heritage Cup. And then he had the Metaphor freaking out and reacting to the fact that the Heritage Cup is missing. Oh my goodness. Now it's time for the rebranded Lexus King, the big debut of Don't Call Me Brian Pillman Jr. no more. He took on Dante Chen, another person who's been missing in action since, 1776. And the thing that kind of had me tripping about this was commentary refers to Dante Chen as the gatekeeper of NXT. And I'm like, yo, when's the last time we've even seen this man on NXT? I don't know. I don't remember. I honestly do not remember. But it's not about Dante Chen and him keeping gates and gatekeeping or whatever. It's about Lexus King. And his overall presentation has been really good, with the backstage with the pre-taped vignettes and everything, even all the way down to his entrance. He came out in the big chair, the big throne, I guess, and it kind of reminded me of when Judgment Day had Edge as the leader, and he had the big giant chair, and it just made me think about Edge, in the big giant chair. But Lexus King, made his debut. The thing about Lexus King is, I've always felt like there was something there to him, even back at his time in AEW. It was like, there's something about this dude. Besides him being Brian Pillman's son, there's something there. And, hopefully with his time in NXT and WWE, you kind of see what those tangibles are, what his superstar quality is. And, maybe he'll be a big giant star and be NXT champion or WWE champion or whatever. Who knows? So after this, we had the match between Kelani Jordan and Ariana Grace, and people are really digging Ariana Grace's gimmick of her being kind of like the I don't want to say prom king, but prom queen, but like the beauty pageant contestant, whatever. And she's kind of like playing the dumb, goofy role, but people really gravitate to it. People like it, and she's Santina Marilla's daughter, so there's always that. But Kelani Jordan ended up getting the win, and she's going on to the final round of the Women's Breakout Tournament. And in the other match between Carmen, I don't know how you say her last name, I apologize. She took on Lola Vice and lost. So it's going to be in the final round, Lola Vice taking on Kelani Jordan, and that's going to take place next week, I think, on NXT Halloween Havoc Night 2. And that should be an interesting match, man. And I kind of figured that it would come down to these two. And as far as who wins, man, it's kind of up in the air. I don't know who I think is going to win. You can't go wrong either way. Both of these two women have great potential, star qualities, and the people really like them. So, we'll see. We just got to wait and see what happens next week on NXT Halloween Havoc. Ooh. On a more serious note, we have an update from Von Wagner dealing with his physical therapy, the mental anguish, the physical toll is taken on his body. But throughout these trials and these tribulations, the power of friendship once again reigns supreme. Von Wagner and Mr. Stone, Robert Stone, they've become closer. They become friends throughout these whole ordeals and everything. And next week, you're going to have Robert Stone taking on Braun Breaker. And Braun Breaker is going to straight up murder this man. But you can't murder the power of friendship. After this, you had another segment with the Wheel of Destiny. You had Shotzi and Scarlett, they were out there. And then you had the Creed brothers come out, and they pretty much challenged Humberto and Angel Garza. And the Wheel of Destiny, the great Wheel of Destiny, decided that next week the Creed brothers will take on Angel and Humberto in a table, ladders, and scares match. I don't know what the scares are, but it's scary. Ooh, scares. So that should be a pretty fun match. And this led us into our NXT Tag Team Championship match between Chase U and the D'Angelo family. And this was actually really fun, man. I actually really like both teams. You have the silliness and the shenanigans of a mob family taking on a college. So there's always that. And you also had Thea Hill and JC Jane playing the role of cheerleaders, so that was pretty funny. But what's not funny is the fact that we have new NXT Tag Team Champions, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson. Chase U have brought home the gold, so you already know what that means. Tuition for Chase U is gonna go through the roof. So if you don't have your financial aid in order, if you don't have a scholarship, I don't know what you're gonna do. You might as well just go to ICDC, Little Romeo's College, but you're not gonna get into Chase U. But congratulations to Chase U. And even later in the night, you had them celebrating, and they run into the women's tag team champions, Chelsea Green and Piper Niven. And Thea Hale and JC Jane, they're feeling themselves, so they challenged them to a WWE Women's Tag Team Championship match, and that's going to take place next week. So, good luck to them. Go Chase U. Some more matches that were announced for next week. You had Nathan Frazier calling out Dirty Dominic Mysterio for the NXT North American Championship. One thing I noticed about Nathan Frazier is he has a big ass forehead. Like his hairline, I feel bad for these young people with receding hairlines, man. It's unfortunate. I don't have these problems, knock on wood, and I hope I never will. But it sucks because you're too young to have a forehead that big. After this, we had a lights out match, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I was like, they could have made this a Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. I'm just saying. I know people had their feelings about the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match, but I'm like, yeah, it wasn't that bad, man. But you had a lights out match between Gigi Dolan and Blair Davenport. And this was fun. This was a real fun match. The only thing that got me was the fact that you have the people there, the NXT universe, chanting "We want tables" 2 seconds into the match, and I'm like, listen, I understand table spots are very popular. The table is probably the most popular thing in all of wrestling, but listen. Every match that has stipulations of hardcore stipulations or whatever, you don't have to chant "We want tables" 2 seconds into the match. You're gonna get the table spot. Just relax, just chill out, relax. But ultimately, man, Blair Davenport got the win. Surprisingly, after she hit a Falcon Arrow through the table, and then she hit her finishing move on Gigi, and she won the match. What should have been a pitch black match, but it was a lights out match. She won. So who knows where this goes? Who knows where this leads Gigi and Blair Davenport? Who knows? Another match that was set up for next week. You have Tiffany Stratton and what's her name? Fallon Henley. So Tiffany Stratton was being interviewed in the back, and she's talking, and then Fallon Henley pulls up, and she's dressed just like Tiffany Stratton, and she's making fun of her. She's doing the whole Tiffy time and saying everything with Tiffy in front of it, and they fight and they punch for a little bit, and they have a match for next week. So there's that. So now we get to our main event of the evening. You have Becky Lynch, you have Lyra Valkyria, you have the NXT Women's Championship, but more importantly than all that, you have Jade Cargill. She pulls up, man. She's sitting on the throne, man. She's looking down upon the NXT galaxy, the NXT universe, and she's looking like a star, man. She's looking like money. She's got the green coat, which represents the money that she's gonna be getting and bringing into the WWE and the NXT universe, man. But yeah, man, what a main event this was. What a match this was. Lyra Valkyria is your new NXT Women's Champion. I honestly wasn't expecting this. I was thinking that Becky Lynch was going to hold on to it for a little while longer, and then there was a possible lead to Becky Lynch versus Jade Cargill, but that's not looking like it's going to be the case, man. And I got to say that Becky Lynch has done a great thing with the NXT Women's Championship. She's done the whole open challenge type thing, an open door policy as far as challenging her for the championship. And it's gotten more women TV time, getting them opportunities to fight for the NXT Championship. And again, get that TV time that under, a certain mustache pervert, they weren't getting, but, under the new Triple H regime, the new, TKO regime, things are a little bit different. So good for Becky Lynch and what she's done with the NXT Women's Championship, and as far as working with different women, and hopefully, even though she doesn't have the championship, hopefully that still kind of continues. Becky using her star power and her position in the company to get women more opportunities to get more TV time and get more matches and get more match time and this, that, and the third. So that was it, man. That was night one of NXT Halloween Havoc. Overall fun show, man. I love me some NXT. It's a solid 2 hours and sometimes 10-15 minutes of television, wrestling, sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it. So it gets the honorary W. Can't wait to see what happens next week. And hopefully next week we'll find out who attacked Trick Williams and why the 1994 Denver Broncos did what they did. We gotta get to the bottom of this. But with that being said, man, let me know what you guys thought about this week's episode of NXT in the comment section below. Of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. You guys take care, bees. I'm out. Peace. Ooh.